guys, this is Grace and welcome to process video number 2, which is actually video number 3 for my latest 10 handmade cards, 1 homemade kit in October, and I'm doing some holiday cards here. So card number 6 is pretty simple. I just really wanted to use that die cut of a deer. I don't normally use deer with my holiday like layouts and stuff, and I know it was popular, and then I just so happened to have this 4x6 kind of scrapbook card that I trimmed a little bit smaller so that it could fit my A2 size card, and it happened to have some deers in the background too, so I thought they will work perfectly. And then I did add some kind of holes, well, not really holes, but that stitching effect on the edge of it with my tracing tool. And then my last cheers that I cut out using a die cut, my favorite things die cut, and then the holiday wishes card, and that is it. I'm putting that on a red card base because I feel like that would make the green stand out, and it's your traditional Christmas color, so I thought, why not? And then I'm adding just some rhinestones, red rhinestones on the edges of it, and then I'm going to call it good. I think I'm going to add some glimmer or some shimmer to the deer, and then that will be it. So if you're new to my channel, or this is the first video that you have seen from this series, make sure that you check out the other 2 videos, because in the first one I share the products that I had picked for this particular homemade kit, and then the second video showing the cards numbers 1 through 5 that I have made with the particular homemade kit. So now we're going to go on to card number 7, and this one is again simple cards. One of the goals that I had for this particular kit was to make the cards not so time consuming to create, if that makes any sense. I know that some of us don't have a lot of time, especially this time of the year, where the holidays are starting to come one after another, and then, you know, our kids are in school, or we have work, or there's just so many things that's pulling us from creating. So maybe sometimes it is okay for us to not have to take 45 minutes just to create one card. And I know that's kind of exaggerating, but sometimes, you know, when we get into the groove of just creating and doing our backgrounds or doing stamping and die cutting and all of that, it can take a while. And don't get me wrong, I love the process of creating, but there's also, I have accepted that there's times and seasons for it. And right now I can only devote a certain amount of my day to creating. So I am going with like the simple kinds of designs for my cards. So with this one, as you can see, I just did a lot of layering of the paper because I did have a lot of paper still left over from the kit, and so I layered that. And then I have this tag that I pulled from just my die cut book. And then I added the Happy Christmas as my sentiment, which I've already stamped and heat embossed before I started the video. Again, it took me 2 hours to create all 10 cards, but that is because I've already done some pre-stamping, some pre-heat embossing, pre-die cutting, and a lot of the prep work for these cards. And I've also kind of pre-planned them, so I know exactly what I'm going to do. So with this one, I wanted to play with that kind of buffalo check stencil. I love it, and I was thinking initially of doing blue against the green, but the blue doesn't really show up very well. So I pulled out my Hero Arts white ink pad, and this is fairly new to me. I haven't been successful in finding a very good ink pad that's white, that's like a good white, but so far this Hero Arts one is good. I have to say though that I have heard a lot of people saying that it takes a long time to dry, so I did set this aside to dry and then created the other videos, and then when it is dried I'm, just touching the sides of it to make sure that the edges of it, sorry, to make sure that it's dry. And then I went and continued the card. So that may be something that you want to do if in case you do have to play around with this particular ink. It's just set it aside to dry. And for me, thankfully, it didn't take that long to dry. So now I'm going to go and complete this card. So I decided to do that kind of pink with the gold tones into it. That will be my background. I did match that green that I used for the buffalo check with the same color of card base, just so that they will all flow nicely together. And then I picked 3 of these pre-heat embossed ornaments that I stamped and heat embossed and then cut them apart. And then I'm going to do the same thing that I did. I think it's card number 4 that I did it, but instead of the skinny ornaments, I'm going with the circle ones. Again, I'm going to put some lines, pen lines, and to mimic a string. And then I'm going to go ahead and finish it off with just this sentiment. And that will be it. I think I'm gonna add some rhinestones, I guess, on the top of the ornaments instead of just on the card. And then that's it. So now we're going to go on card number 8. Now this one, I feel like this is very easily mass produced, the design that I created for this, because it's really just layering of cards. But I did want to use that big Merry Christmas die cut. Like I said in my video number 1, that I have all of these die cuts that are holiday themed that I don't end up using in my scrapbook or in my layout process. So I'm going to pull them out over here so I can use them up. And I was focusing on the big ones too, because sometimes when I have way too many photos especially for holiday kinds of scrapbooking, I don't have enough real estate in my page rather, to put a really large die cut such as this. Also, like the deer that I used from the card, I think card number 6. Yeah, and also the tag that I used from card number 7. So I was really particular in using large die cut. So maybe that's another thing that you can incorporate in your card making, is to use the larger die cuts that you don't see yourself using when you are doing any other projects such as scrapbooking. And I did add some stitch lines on the edge of my paper just so that it will have a little bit of design there. And I'm adding some red rhinestones just to the center block here, the smaller one, and then I will call it good with maybe a little bit of shimmer onto the die cut sentiment piece. So I hope that you guys are liking these videos, and I hope that these 10-minute cards are giving you some ideas on what to do next when you're wanting to create but don't have a lot of time to make cards. I hope that these 10 cards have given you some ideas of what to do. Again, I created these cards in about 2 hours, all 10 of them, but if you add the planning, the prepping of the die cuts and the pre-stamping, it probably took me about 4 hours in total, but I broke that down into multiple 15-minute bursts, I guess, here and there, because I really don't have a lot of time these days to just sit and do this all day. I wish I could, but there's just a lot of other things that's pulling me from creating. And it's not that they are not good things, it's just that I just have to really just be conscientious of my time. So that red, or kind of orange red paper, was a little too short for my liking. So I did cut that and extended it to the left side, and then just covered that with the red, that pink paper. And you'll never know that it wasn't a whole strip. And as you can see, I am left with just a little, or a handful of scraps here. So I'm just layering them all up and just using as much as I can. And then I used a large ornament that has been pre-heat embossed. and hand cut, fuzzy cut, so that will be my my big accent for this particular card. And then the sentiment was already pre-heat embossed and stamped, and then all I had to do was add it to this card. So now I'm going to show you what is left over. There are just a handful of papers, but I think I'm just going to throw away the really small ones. I don't even know what I'm going to do with those ornaments. Probably just going to throw them away. And then here are the items that's left over. I consider them my tools, and I can use them over and over again. So they're just going to go back in my stash. And again, this is a review of the cards that I created. If you like these videos, please consider giving it a thumbs up and subscribing. If you have any questions from the cards that I had made, make sure that you leave that in the comment section below, and I'll try to answer it as fast as I can. Also, let me know in the description box, in the comment section below, which one was your favorite. I would have to say my favorite is that multicolored ornament card. I thought that was really cute. And also I like the all is calm, all is bright card, because I like the kind of the night scene. And yeah, it was, I liked it. Anyways, thanks so much for watching. I'll catch you guys another day. Bye.